All right, a couple of quick slides on performance. And when we talk about performance right now, it's going to be performance of employees. And we talk about the system managing employee performance as either performance evaluations, and sometimes we call that a performance management system. The performance management system tends to be broader than a simple performance evaluation, which is often the measurement only of the employee. So, performance evaluation is an evaluation of the performance. Performance management system manages the entire circle of tying it to strategy, mission, and vision, giving feedback after the evaluation, so on. So, here they're using performance evaluation more as I would normally use performance management. All right, so that was the caveat for that. So, a performance evaluation is a constructive process, meaning it should build up. And so, this constructive process should acknowledge the performance of the employee. And these are the things we hope to happen through a performance management process. We're hoping to build trust with our employees and maintaining credibility. And we hope it's motivating. So you are getting goals and objectives that might be a little stretch for you or for the employee, and that should help us with some motivation. As we've said elsewhere, it clarifies expectations. So many employees do not know what is expected from them, they do not have that. And through performance evaluations and goals and objectives, that should help. And identifying strengths and weaknesses of the employee, and what strengths do we need to actually meet the job, meet the performance standard that we have, and do we have weaknesses that are causing us to not meet those, and what can we do to fix that if we need fixing. As you may be aware from your own experiences or just talking to other people who work, many of us do not get performance evaluations. They don't happen. Employees don't like them because we are reluctant to get constructive feedback. Managers do not want to give it because they don't want the conflict that might ensue from a performance evaluation. And so, a lot of the time, they are just ignored in organizations. So, this is an area where companies could do so much better. And here you see on the right side, you see some of those negative consequences if we actually don't do them. And here you got a performance review, right? So performance evaluation or a performance review. Those are kind of the same things, right? So it decreases credibility of management. They promise something, it never happens, and if it's done, typically they're check the box exercises, and that doesn't really help anybody, right? It tends to reduce the organization's overall effectiveness. That's the whole point of having employees, is to get work done. And if we don't check in on that work, we don't really know. And we know from research 16% or so tend to be more effective when we do have goals and objectives and do performance evaluations. We're just overall better off from doing these things in organizations. It's a time management issue for our manager, if in terms of not having performance reviews, because people might not be focusing on the right things. Managers might be talking about the heads of the employees. There's a whole host of issues. And so while it might take a little bit of time to actually do the reviews, not doing them costs you more in the longer term. And it also decreases morale. We just need that feedback loop, and it needs to be authentic, it needs to be delivered properly. Our managers should have training in how to do performance evaluations and how to give them appropriately. And if we don't have those things, morale suffer. So putting together a performance evaluation system or performance management system, this slide just lists some basic best practices to look at. So first of all, as with everything in life, what are you hoping to do with the system? Is it to make sure that your employees are aligned on vision and mission? Is it to make sure we control them in terms of their performances? Is it because we want to develop them and teach them? What do you want from the system? So identify your goal. Then, secondly, you come up with goals and objectives that are helpful for people. They should be inspiring and challenging. They shouldn't be too easy, and they should stretch people's capabilities. Similarly, they shouldn't be too hard. They should not be too easy or not too hard. Remember from our motivational conversation. They should be a little bit stretchy, a little bit stretch for you so that you get to apply yourself. All right, you want to ensure that you have commitment from the top. So whatever we measure, it should be aligning all the way to the top. Fourth, ensure that all key staff are involved in the development of the performance management processes from early phases. How often do you see this happen? Think back to our organizational change chapter that we talked about the organizational structure and change, and we talked about change. And when we do changes, any type of changes in the organization, to reduce employee resistance, we want to make sure people are involved. But very seldomly, in my experience, are people actually involved in the development of performance management processes, but it is a best practice. 5, if the PM, performance management system, is not linked to salary, which is true in some organization, employees should know that. 6, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Provide additional training for supervisors on how to conduct these reviews. They should know the appropriate ways to do it. HR will help with that. Go and talk to HR. Plan to modify the performance management system over time. You start with the goals and objectives, and you want to make sure, as we live in dynamic times and things change constantly, we will also want to change our processes, PM being one of them. All right, that's going to wrap it for performance management. See you soon.